Hey, on today's Living in Las Vegas, I think it's safe to say that one of the most joyous experiences in a couple's life is when they discover they're going to have a baby. Conversely, probably one of the most painful experiences is when they discover they can't do so. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about adoption and foster care in Las Vegas. And our own Wayne Crowell is going to be giving us some insight because he's going through this process right now. Plus, we've got real quick stories, live chat questions, listener email, and of course, have a drink on me. This is the Living in Las Vegas podcast where all couples that have kids, let's say toddlers, their favorite gift that you can give little Johnny on his second birthday, toy drums. Let's get started.
Yeah, baby. Little Johnny's going to piss off mom and dad with that one.
You should have painted the breaker box blue.
Quiet. I've had it for you.
Living in Las Vegas starts now.
Yeah, I can't show up on time, but I have some feedback about your studio.
You confirmed the time.
Yeah, so that was a slight mistake on my side.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada. That groovy little podcast that gives you a true first-person look into what it's like to call Sin City your home. The Living in Las Vegas podcast. And now your host,
Who showed up on time?
a man who clearly needs some kind of introduction, otherwise you wouldn't know who he
do live
was. Mr. Scott
Scotty.
Whitney.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living in Las Vegas podcast here on the Vegas Video Network. Polite. I'm a little bit tardy golf clap. Thank you very much. And by the way, congratulations, because you are watching or listening to the longest running podcast about Las Vegas that actually originates from
Las Vegas.
Attaboy.
At apparently 7 o'clock now.
Yes. And by the way, your hosts
7 Pacific.
Your hosts who are normally here have a combined total of 30 years living here in the Las Vegas. A little bit less this time, but we'll round up to 30.
Yeah.
It's 30 years, which means what? We're not only going to cover what it's like to live here, but we're going to talk about our adventures on the Strip, in Fremont Street, downtown, other cool places here in the Valley. And by the way, if you're a visitor, if you're a fan, if you're a tourist, you love this thing we call Las Vegas, our show is like your own secret handshake to all things groovy and happening here in town. Hey, we're live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
7
As a matter of fact,
Pacific time?
Yeah, Pacific time. If you actually did on-demand me, you would have gone, 7 p.m. Pacific. He says that at the beginning of every show.
Well,
maybe my lies
I
are
skipped to the
not
good
very good. Maybe
I
in
skipped
fact,
to the end.
I'm a crappy liar. Surprising given that what your business is and what you do for a job.
Yeah.
While you can find liars, you are not a good liar yourself. Those who cannot do, teach. Or discover or hunt down. Anyway, so we're live every 7 o'clock. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Pacific time at VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. Again, VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. Come and be a part of the show. Join us in the live chat. Get in there, baby. I see a couple new people. The Game 213. That must be they're from Los Angeles, I'm assuming.
Also in the Pacific time zone.
Or, here you go. Be a part of the show. You in the live chat are an integral part. As a matter of fact, we have a whole segment dedicated just to the live chat people. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Whitney. Konnichiwa, buenas noches. How you doing, hot stuff? We're going to be drinking Mickey's Big Mouth tonight.
Unbelievable.
I'm going back
I
to
bring
high school.
expensive top shelf liquor in.
No, you don't.
And instead, it
You
just
have
gets
never done that.
ridiculed.
No, what you did,
And here,
you brought
have
in
some
alcohol.
malt liquor.
You brought in alcoholic root beer.
Were they all at a Colt 45?
Yeah, don't make fun of Colt 45. Okay. This brings me back to my high school days. We liked this because it had a larger opening, which means you could drink faster and get drunk. We were about efficacy at Pacifica High School in Garden Grove, California. Anyways, I'm your host, Scott Whitney. How you doing? I run the Vegas Video Network, been an online broadcaster for 10 plus years. I actually make a living at this. How's that even possible? Yeah, we don't like to talk about that. And Brett is not in today. He's decided he's had enough of me. Instead, I've got joining me, well, he is literally a celebrity for those of you who've been watching the Vegas Video Network for all these many years. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pimpin' Wayne, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know you're a celebrity when you can show up when you want.
Yeah, thanks, Axel.
Thanks for confirming that time.
Yeah, slight. I'm under a lot of pressure. I got lots going on. I'm juggling
You're a busy man.
balls, making shit.
How are you supposed to know when your own show at your own house starts?
Right. You said 7:15, or yeah, and I'm like, you must mean 6:15. Everybody knows that.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for the last time I was here, the show was on at 8. But yeah,
it's been a long time
details.
since you've last been here at the
It's
big
been
show.
a little bit. I mean, yeah. Gary Sharon's been with the band for a while, so you know.
We don't talk about that. Hey, what's our over and under today, Pimpin' Wayne?
Including the little bit of a late start, or not including it?
Not including. Right now, we are about 6 minutes into the big show.
Okay, let's go. Let's go 107.
107 minutes? Are you high? Okay. No.
No, I'm drinking malt liquor.
Play the under on this, for the love of God. Play the under. Okay. We have to say hello. We have some people new in the live chat. I love this name, Saucy J. Who is Saucy J, and what is he all about? Is it a he or a she? I know. Saucy J is Jim from Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
When you think Anchorage, you think saucy.
What time is it in Anchorage right now, I wonder?
I don't know. Jim, what time is it in Anchorage right now, I wonder? And he discovered us on the iTunes. He's been a long-time fan of the big show. So, Jim, welcome to that. And I think the game 213, I just saw him pop up. Him or her, not sure. That just popped up before the show, so I didn't have a chance to see who they were. We're going to go with what we normally do if they don't tell us who they are, and that is, of course, it's 6:27, so it's an hour earlier than us. So the game is a him. The game is a CIA operative because he hasn't told us anything else. He's checking up on us, trying to make sure that we don't do anything out of sorts. And we appreciate Jim and the game 213 for playing along with us in the live chat.
Yes. I was going to say, by the way, 107, I meant an hour 7, not 107 minutes.
Oh, so it'd be 67.
This isn't a Quentin Tarantino movie.
67 minutes.
Well,
okay.
The kids these days say 107.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
On Twitter, they do.
No, they don't.
Where I catch the show on demand.
Right. After you skip the first 5-10 minutes because you wouldn't know what time
they're
the show
kind of
starts.
slow. I know who you are. I know who Brett is. I know we're in Las Vegas. I know there's live chat. Let's just give me the meat.
Give me the meat, baby.
Yeah.
Get
I don't
to
need
it.
soup.
I ain't got no time for this bullshit. All right. So in my show notes it says interview Wayne. Excellent.
All right.
Okay. Hope this goes well. So like I said in the cold
Starting
opening,
with malt liquor. So
many of us have been fortunate to breed and have children. I have two. God bless them. They are smarter than me, and they've done better things than I will ever do. So, success. But seriousness, as we bring the seriousness back in here, the truth is, for a lot of folks, they've tried to do that and have not been successful. And Wayne is one of those folks. Now, Wayne's not by himself. He's not trying to have babies by himself. He's not like the rabbit, whatever that movie with Joan Rivers did a movie about a guy who gets pregnant. Rabbit test, rabbit, guy. Whatever. Yeah, it's way before your time. Yeah. How's Prince doing, by the way?
Oh, Prince is fantastic.
Okay. So Wayne is married to a lovely girl named
Hannah.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about your experience in trying to have a kid and then going into the next step. So you guys had tried previously, is that right?
We did. Now, I pulled the age-old trick. You know, we've lived in Vegas, not quite the combined 30 years that you and Brett have, but we're going on year 8 now.
Oh, wow.
And so I did this thing the first, I got away with it. She let me get away with it a good 5 years.
You were here before the Vegas Video Network started?
We showed up September 17th, 2008.
Oh, okay. You were. I thought you came afterwards. Okay, good to know.
So the very first we get married actually on a Sunday. We moved to Vegas that next Monday.
Attaboy.
Less than 24 hours later, that was our honeymoon.
That was good.
Driving on out.
Nice.
So, as soon as you get married, everybody starts, your parents start asking you, your friends start asking you, oh, when are the little kids coming?
Right.
And so for 5 years, I got away with, oh, hon, we just moved here. We're still in our 20s. We're young. We like to go out and do things, go to the strip, go to downtown. So, yeah, just 5 years I got by with that.
Right.
How about next year? Well, and then, on that fourth year, it was like, all right, you know what? Let's just do one more bang blowout year, and then we'll settle down and we'll look at the family and those sorts of things. So I was able to get away with that for 5 years.
How old are you now?
Just turned 30.
You. I'm not going to ask about her age.
No, I know. No, I know. I just
Are you trying to figure out your own age?
1981.
Oh my
so
God.
I'm 34.
You're 81? So I was born, so you're 20 years younger than me, so you're almost going to be 35. Okay, so 34.
Yeah, 34.
Okay, good.
December. It was late December.
Oh, okay, very good. Continue.
So get it, push it off for about 5 years. So in the start of year 5 or 6, we were like, okay, let's just, we'll just see what happens, and okay, we'll settle down now, and we'll start to do the family thing. So
You finally, after 5 years, decided to have sex.
After 5 years, it took a little while.
Way to go.
It's I'm a tough sell. So
This sex thing, I don't think it will catch on.
It's-
Oh, okay,
yeah.
honey, I'll do it.
it's just on the internet, right? I mean, people don't actually do that stuff.
How hard can it be to find?
So we decide, okay, we'll settle down, and now, if kids happen, kids happen. And so some time kind of went by, and I'm still enjoying life. We're still going out to the strip. We're still going downtown. But then before you know it, it's been 2 years, 2 more years, and it's like, oh, there's no kids yet. And Hannah, bless her heart, because if I was a single guy, I probably wouldn't. You have those fleeting thoughts like, oh, it'd be nice to do this, take your son to their first ball game, or take your daughter to their first dance, or what have you.
Right.
But had I not been married, I probably would just have dismissed those thoughts.
Sure.
But God bless Hannah. Hannah has always had nurturing, mothering type instincts. She taught preschool for a while, and so she's always in her heart of hearts known, that she wanted to have kids and do the parent thing, and eventually break down, get a minivan, et cetera, et cetera.
I suggest the Honda Odyssey.
I just bought a Honda. Got a brand new Civic.
Very good. Wait, you don't have your electric car anymore?
No, got rid of it.
Oh, we can talk about that later, because that was the big fucking thing. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Scott, you got to get these big expenditures in before kids happen, because I don't have to tell you, kids are expensive.
You're telling me. That's so quaint. Keep going on your
So
story.
yeah, well, my
young
credit's still
Skywalker.
sterling, and my accounts still have money in them. Let's go buy a car.
Okay, young Skywalker, continue your story.
So the time had eventually come where we kind of sat down. We had that moment where it's like, we're now in our early to mid 30s. We're not getting any younger, and it gets to that point where you don't want to be like the really old guy,
Right.
like
bad
Bob
news.
Barker or George Hamilton or someone like with trying to chase little kids around.
What great examples. That was very good.
So we said, you know what? It's been a couple years, nothing's happened yet. Maybe we should just start thinking about adoption, seeing what's out there. Let's just look on the internet. Everything's on the internet.
Did you do any kind of fertility testing or anything like that?
No, because I don't want to be the next couple cast on like TLC, like 27 kids and still coming. It's not a religious thing. It's not a fundamentalist thing. I just don't believe in it. Because those are the people that have 2, 3, 8, 27 kids. And like I said, next thing you know, you're on MTV or TLC. So we get on the internet and just kind of do some browsing. There's there was a website for everything. So like, well, let's see what is out there. So you Google like Nevada and adoption or adoption agencies. And then you come to find out that that's probably in some cases just as expensive as actually having the kids yourself if you go through a private adoption agency.
Oh, so there's different kinds of adoptions
Yes.
you discovered. All right, so you decide, okay, we're going to make this, we've made the decision that it's not working out for us.
Right.
We tried to do this ourselves, and it's not going to happen.
Yep.
And we're not going to do the fertility stuff. We're just
No.
It is what it is. It's it's God's will. It's just not going to make it happen or whatever. So he's like, okay, let's start our investigation of what this means from an adoption standpoint. So you went down and you said, okay, well, let's look at what kind of adoptions are there. And you're telling me there's private adoptions, and then there are county or government public.
Correct.
All right.
So
what's a private adoption?
private adoption is essentially it's kids from, in most cases, out of the country or infants that, the parents don't want the kids, but they're against abortion or what have you.
Right.
Or they sign up to sign the kids off or sign the kids away. But in most cases, it's kids from foreign countries. It's what Angelina Jolie,
Right.
I think was her, right? Her and Brad Pitt?
She got about a dozen of them. She's got a basketball team.
Exactly. From like countries in Africa or somewhere. Right.
Made that up.
And so not only was that exceedingly expensive.
When you say that, how much?
Oh, it would have been tens of thousands.
Just to do it, or just to submit to get it?
Just to do it. There's upfront money because these are private agencies, so they're not necessarily in business to make a profit, but they have operating costs. Sure. They're not subsidized by anyone or anything.
Right.
So by the time we were all said and done, we were talking mid six figures, or excuse me, mid five figures, close to
$50,000 before you would be able to adopt a kid who was probably from out of the country,
China or one of these African countries.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we.
So that wasn't in the cards for you guys. You're like, that's not going to work.
That's. It's.
You're a high-powered guy at where you work, but you didn't
not that high-powered, right?
Okay.
I'm lower mid-management.
Fair enough.
Pardon me. So then you flip over to the public side and state of Nevada and Clark County.
Okay.
And you find out.
Does each county have a different adoption thing, like Clark County versus Reno County, whatever that is?
I don't know what county that is, but yeah. Every county has their own either health department, Department of Family Services, or Health and Human Services, whatever department handles that.
Okay.
Depending on the size of the county. Clark County, big county, got their own Department of Family Services organization.
Okay.
So we started looking at that, and cost aside, I'm a big proponent of, take care of issues within your own house before you go solving the world's problems. Mm-hmm. So I really wasn't that, if we were going to adopt, I told Hannah, I really wasn't that interested in a child from a China or an Ethiopia.
Right.
Because there's plenty, I would think there's plenty of kids here in this country that they're already here. They're probably looking for just a better home.
We know what causes kids. So there's probably a few here.
Yeah. Found that on the internet too.
Oh, there you go.
So in all seriousness, so we started looking at that, and that is there's none of the cost because it's obviously subsidized by the state, in turn by the federal government where they get money from, state governments. And there's practically none of the cost associated with that.
Okay.
So there's an email address, and it says, for further questions, email this address. So Hannah emailed it and said, we're a married couple. We're interested in possibly seeing what the state offers as far as adoption, the county offers, adoption, what children are available, what are the requirements, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
And that's what kind of starts you on the journey, so to speak.
Right.
So step one, you send the
email.
inquiry email.
Right.
So they send back. We have informational meetings the second blah blah day of the week. At blah blah time on Saturday or what have you. So you go to the little informational meeting, and there's probably 20 to 30 people there.
Now, when you go there and you see this informational meeting, there are some people who adopt or who do foster kids strictly because of the income associated with that.
Correct, and I'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay, so when you're in that room and you see those 20, 30 people, did you get a sense that maybe some of those people were not in there for completely honest reasons.
You get a little bit of that sense, but you don't really figure that out till later on, and I'll explain why in a moment.
So there was a point at some point where you were like, oh, I see what's going on
A
here.
little bit. The thing you got to keep in mind too is Clark County has 2 million people in it,
Yep.
and it's a diverse population.
Yep.
So when you have a government-sponsored type of meeting, it's really a dichotomy. It's a cross section of society. So I mean,
So when you went in there the first time, were you like, or were you like, okay, here we go?
well, there's enough people there that you don't feel, because you kind of get that lost in the crowd mentality.
Did you see people from all? I mean, so
Oh, yeah,
I mean, you
absolutely.
saw people who clearly were doing okay,
Yep.
and people who were maybe not doing as
Yep.
okay.
People who spoke English, people who didn't know English, people who, all
Dressed
ages.
nice, didn't dress nice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
People who were toting kids with them,
Okay.
and people who were probably grandparent age. Yep, the whole strata.
Okay.
Because what they do in Clark County, whether you want to just do foster care or you want to adopt, it's all the same. So you go
Which
through
is interesting.
the
And you
same
didn't know,
process.
And you didn't know that
Had
going into it.
no idea.
Because this actually changed what you were forced to think about.
Correct.
And did they tell you that very first meeting? Here's how it works, kids?
No, they're very coy about it
Oh,
because
isn't
they
that
give
interesting?
everybody like a sign-in sheet or an informational sheet,
Right.
and it's got little boxes at the top and it says, "What are you interested in?" One box says foster care. One box says adoption. Other boxes, there was one or two other. If like you just got lost and you heard there was going to be free bottled water or something, you just came in from the heat.
That's what you need.
So
Those are the people you want for parents.
right.
So you do your
So
check.
you check the adoption
check
only, right?
Right.
And you go through the hour-long meeting, and it's just it's somebody talking, it's standard instructor-led training, guy at the front of the room reading off of PowerPoint slides. The mission of the Department of Family Services is to reunite families for their well-being of all. And I literally,
Reunite.
it's an hour of that. I'll tell you, they're real big on the reunification.
Yeah, but you don't reunite people who are new into your family. Reunite means bringing people back together.
Correct, but their mission, that's not their mission. Their mission is it's disjointed.
All right.
It'll hopefully make sense. So, pardon me, need some more malt liquor here. Throat's getting a little dry.
Yeah, you've just basically started to tap into Mickey, so let's just
Right.
sippity sip, all right?
So, you check the little box. You go through this hour-long presentation where you really don't learn that much.
All right.
But primarily, like any Amway meeting or something you go to in a hotel ballroom,
this is an MLM
they've now
thing.
got your information,
Right.
Right. So they call up a couple days later.
But just to be clear, at the end of that meeting, you did not know that there was you believed there was a clear separation between the adoption
Absolutely.
thought and the foster
Absolutely,
care
because
thought.
after they go through the mission, statement and success stories, they talk. The slides are a general overview because you have a whole cross section of society.
Right.
So they say, we have adoption services, we have foster services, we have. They run the child. It's called Child Haven. It's where foster kids without families, kind of hang out till they become available or what have you.
Okay.
Or their parents, I don't know, get out of jail or whatever it might be.
Right, which is probably a common thread.
Sober up, yeah. So like if kids go in, you always hear about CPS goes and takes the kids, they'll end up at Child Haven.
Okay.
That's like the intake processing
Okay.
center. So they go over all the things they do, the services they offer. And by then it's been almost an hour. They ask if anyone has any questions, but it's a room of 30. So no one in particular is looking to,
And do you have enough? You have enough information to even ask a question? It doesn't
Exactly.
Seem like it,
Right. So you fill out your little informational forms. You turn them in, and about a week later, you get a call.
Okay.
And they say, "Are you still interested?" Yes, Mrs. Krell. Are you still interested in? They're looking at your form, the little adoption box. Are you still interested in adoption?
Oh, so they're still moving down that path.
And Hannah says, "Yes, we are." And they say, "Great, we've got a new class starting. What happens is you have to go to a 10-week class. The class is 3 hours long each night, and it's on a Monday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
So once a week, 3 hours, 10 weeks,
Yep, you got it.
30 hours.
30 hours spread over a Monday nights from 6 to 9.
Husband and wife have to go?
Husband and wife.
Okay.
So Hannah, of course, says, "Yeah, put us down for 2.
We're in.
You know, how many we mark you down for?"
Right.
Hannah's like, "We'll take 2 spots."
We'll have the white wine.
Exactly. Yes. And will it be fish or chicken? Oh, it'll be nothing. Okay, great.
Fair enough. Good talk.
So you schedule that, right? So the first class comes, and you go there, and now it's probably, pardon me, probably let's say 20 people in the class, 20 to 25 people in the class.
Okay.
And for 3 hours now each night, they have this program that they've written up called Tips Map. And essentially...
Is that an acronym?
It is, and I couldn't tell you after 3 hours of 10 weeks what it stands for. So apparently they failed a little bit there. However, from the very first outset, so now you're sitting there, and you're there for 3 hours, because who's going to get up and leave halfway through?
Right.
You find out that you're looking through the material, because on every station is a packet of the materials they're going to go through, and it's probably a good 1/4 inch thick.
All right.
And as you're flipping through it, and the person that's leading it starts leading it, you're like, wow, this is very foster care based.
This stands for Trauma Informed Partnering for Safety and Permanent Model Approach to Partnerships in Parenting.
I can't imagine why I didn't remember that.
I'm a little disappointed in you, actually.
Yeah. That's, you think that would have been drilled in.
It's training required to become a licensed foster care parent.
Exactly. And so you're flipping through this packet, and you're thinking, wow, this is very foster care based.
Yeah.
Because it's talking again. Now, on the first meeting, again, they go over the mission statement. The mission statement is, we exist to reunify families. And then you're flipping through the packet, and you're like, did they schedule us wrong? Did they
thought that?
Did they not see the box?
Raise your hand. Excuse me, I now have a question.
And my thought is, did Hannah check too many boxes? Did she get a little over anxious?
I'm in for everything.
Right. And so someone does, probably about an hour of the way through, someone does raise their hand, and they say, I'm just interested in adoption. Is this, am I in the right spot? And they say, oh yeah, we handle both here in the department. So and this is the first time they tell you this, what you first have to do is be licensed as a foster parent. Once they license you as a foster parent and you've met the bar or, passed the class, then if you're just interested in adoption, at that time, they'll pair you off to talk with someone who's in the adoption department.
Okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
So you realize, and it's very subtle in the first meeting or two, it really wasn't until the 3rd week in when they come out and directly tell you, we're licensing you all for foster care.
Period.
The first week, it's just oh, we handle both here, and this program will help you in relation to both skill sets. And then in week 3, that's when they say, we're licensing everyone for foster care.
How'd that make you feel?
It's a little upsetting at first because you're thinking to yourself,
good, honest answer.
Yeah, you're in the 3rd meeting, so you've committed now 9 hours. This is your 3rd week that you're rushing out of work, and you're grabbing a turkey sandwich or something and munching it, noshing it in the car.
Yeah.
Right, so you can run to not the best part of town because government buildings are never located there,
as they shouldn't be.
So you're rushing to MLK and 15.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's a lovely area.
I know it well.
So you're rushing down there, and pardon me, and you find out that this is 90 to 95% foster care based.
There's a great comment an interesting comment by Ken. He goes, "Wow, this is kind of run like a timeshare pitch."
Kind of. Now the thing is, at least with the timeshare, you go in thinking,
got 90 minutes.
They're going to waste my time, but I'm getting 2 tickets to Jersey Boys.
Right.
At this point, I'm like, well, they've wasted my time.
Now I don't get tickets to shit.
Right. Yeah. I don't even know if we're ending up.
I get tickets to see that street performer. The fuck.
Yeah. The bum. Right. On 15 and MLK.
It's got a nice key light. And I felt like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's amazing what he can put in a shopping cart.
So after that third meeting, and you recognize, oh, this is a foster care only play. Did you complete the other 7 things?
We did, because you have to. That's what they do. That's kind of, if there's a gotcha, that's where it is that you have to be, and there's breaks. There's a 10-minute break halfway through where people go out and use the phone, the soda machine in the bathroom, or you can just pick the brain of the instructor leading the course. And so on week
Is that
3,
what you did?
well, you go up and you say, so this is 100% like, if we want to adopt, this is the right place, right? And they go, yeah, but as part of the rules of Clark County, you have to be licensed for foster care first to meet those requirements.
At that point, do you say, but does that mean I have to be licensed, or do I actually have to take a foster child?
That's my next question, exactly in that exact way. And the answer, it's an interesting answer, because the answer is essentially yes. You do have to foster before you adopt. Period. Now, when you dig a little deeper, you understand the rationale. The rationale is there are children that are strictly there for foster care. The parents are in jail. The parents are whacked out on drugs. The parents are nowhere to be found. Dead. Well, no, not dead. But this is where the reunification comes in.
Why not dead?
Because the dead kids would be up for adoption.
Oh, they would be. Oh,
yeah, the dead kids' parents.
So now I understand.
These are children removed from homes.
Oh, so that is the difference. See, I didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, their reunification makes sense. They're not reunificating with you,
right?
They want to get them eventually back to their family.
Bingo, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
I didn't see. Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay.
And if it's not parents, aunts, uncles, grandma,
their family,
uncles, right?
Blood relative of some kind.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's a good thought.
It is.
I get that.
So that's that's where the whole primary mission statement comes in from.
Okay.
And Hannah actually had one of the substitute leaders one week. You're not allowed to miss a class. Oh, but the leader went on vacation for a week to Georgia. He's allowed to miss a class.
You throw erasers at him? Substitute teacher shit?
They require perfect attendance. If you miss a class, you have to make it up the next time around.
Like the whole 10?
No, just the one you missed.
Oh, it's like basic training.
They require perfect attendance on the part of us.
Right.
So what we find out is, the kids where they were just removed from the homes, their goal is reunification. The kids whose parents have died, parents can't be found, end up in custody of the great state of Nevada.
Right.
These are the kids that are up for adoption. But what you have to do is you have to foster them for 6 months. Oh. And it's not a bad idea when you think of it, because after 6 months,
that's a good idea.
Then it's like, is this a good fit or is this not a good fit?
That's a good idea.
You get time to, they can learn you can learn them.
Sure. I get that.
So that's where that comes from.
Okay, so you do your 10-week thing.
You do, which tells you really is nothing about parenting, or it's literally it's extremely foster focused. It's how to deal with kids that have been sexually abused.
Okay.
How to
that is okay, but it's parenting for foster kids.
For foster kids, because
it's
then
not
it's
parenting, but it's parenting for people who are in a bad place.
Correct. But a lot of the activities and the years, how would you feel if you've got a mother that was addicted to crack and that's why she lost her kids, and now she says she's clean and it's time to give them back?
I'd feel bad.
Right. But you have to, that's not a good answer. But what's crazy is during these 3 hours, they have times where it's instructor led. They have times you break into little small groups and complete activities with questions. You read the scenario and answer the questions. Yeah. And then there's some times where there's role play. Okay, Scott, you're going to be
you're going to be the crack dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I'm ready. I'm ready to.
Right. Oh, it's amazing. Some people take that like it's community theater. Oh my gosh. You just sit there and you're like,
please, for the love of God, if you were that good, you'd be on.
Right. Just can we just read the lines? Let's not
read the fucking lines.
They're working out the blocking and the
right. I want the light over here. Camera's here. I will start the scratching here and look forlorn in the camera.
So what they have is they have 2 people lead the class. One person is the primary leader. The other person is just sitting there just taking notes on you. You see them writing on a center pad.
Oh, that's like the
So
interview
when they
process.
ask questions,
How funny.
or you're doing the role play, or you're in the small groups, and they're very sly about it, and they're very casual. But they'll say, how would that make you feel, Wayne? And you say, yeah, I think that would be difficult. Absolutely. I don't know how I'd be able to deal with that. And,
Give
okay, that's
me
a good answer.
one example of where you said that.
Oh gosh, it's like how would you feel if the child said you touched them inappropriately?
Yeah.
And it was found out it wasn't true.
I'd be pissed.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so they ask you all these different scenario
Did you
questions.
say
Some
I'd
of
be
them are
pissed?
good.
Or did you say, well, I'd have to look back at their past history and maybe they're just lashing out because of,
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of I gave a lot of politically correct answers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, I get that. All right. So you do your 10 weeks and you go through. Basically, this is foster care training.
Exactly.
How to be a good foster parent.
Yep.
Now, during that time, I know that you had somewhere during this process, you had to reach out to other people for them to vouch for you. Mm-hmm. Was that during that 10 weeks, or was
Yes.
that before or after?
On week 1, they literally give you an envelope that's 2 inches thick.
Uh-huh.
And in that envelope, you're basically filling out the biggest application you've ever filled out. We're talking not only just your job history, criminal history, where you've lived. It's your relatives. It's you need references from 3 different people
Right.
who can't be related to you.
Yeah.
You have to fill out what you spend every month in your budget. So I have to say rent is this much. I spend this much on groceries. My power bill is this much.
Crack is a discount.
Exactly. If you buy in bulk.
Right.
You have to include pay stubs so they can see how much you make to see if your budget matches, the
Right.
way you're living.
Right.
You have to fill out then questions about your childhood. Tell us about your relationship with your mother. How did your parents discipline you? How did you feel about that?
They beat me and I didn't like it.
Name all the people you've shared a house with. Name all the people you've shared a bedroom with.
Wow.
What was it like for you in school? Like these, and you have to handwrite essay answers.
Right.
So during that, you have to turn that in by week 4.
Okay.
And they stress that.
It's homework.
That being said, people still fail to do that. No. But every week along the 10 weeks, somebody didn't show back up. So we started week 10 with about 20 to 25 people. Mm-hmm. By the time we ended it,
week 1 with 20,
week
25.
1, excuse me, yes.
Right.
By the time we got to week 10 and ended it, we were down to 6.
Wow. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
People either don't turn the material in,
Wow.
or people just don't come back, or people find out the requirements.
If they don't turn it in, are they just disinvited to?
After week 4, it's basically don't come back.
You can't show up. Oh, okay.
Yep, we're not going to license you.
Okay.
You can't follow the rules.
All right. And what was you were about ready to say something?
So during that, you turn in all that paperwork. They actually send a licensing worker to your home twice. The first time, he goes through all your paperwork, and if you're not elaborate enough on some of your answers, like my childhood was fine, well, how did you get along with your father? Good.
Right. Mm-hmm. Real good.
So no, they'll come in and they'll do this. So tell me about your dad. How long was he always around?
He was a pirate.
Did you? Pirate Fest this past weekend.
All right.
So.
That would have been a shit show, by the way, with the rain.
Oh, I can imagine. So they come in and they're taking more notes. And they're going over your, flipping through your responses in your questionnaire.
Right. I see.
And then they tell you all the requirements. So the requirements are things you have to do for yourself and for your home. Some of them, and I don't have a comprehensive list, but the ones I remember off the top of my head, you have to get a test for tuberculosis.
Fair enough.
So you go get a TB test.
Yeah, it's a 50.
You have to, you have to have certain items in your home. You have to have a fire extinguisher.
No.
You have to have child locks on all the places where you have chemicals in the cabinet. We have a dog. The dog food cannot be in anywhere near in relation to the kitchen. We had to put the dog food across the house.
Why?
The reason we were given was so that the child doesn't get hungry and want to snack.
Are you shitting me?
And start going for the Scooby snacks,
Really?
he said.
Really?
So we literally...
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I sometimes have a somewhat sardonic response to those kind of things. And I might say, a lot of kids eating puppy chow? I might have said that.
Uh-huh.
How did you respond to the puppy chow and kids issue?
Well, Hannah was there, so I just smiled.
You pumped the brakes.
And I said, is over there, will over there be okay?
Will that be okay?
Is that far enough? Do I need to contact the neighbors? See if we can do like a food share program?
Kiddles and bits for kids.
Thank
you, Montana.
What were some of the other crazier ones? You had to draw a floor plan of your house.
They're in the house.
I know, but you have to hand sketch out, a floor plan.
Is that to know
with room dimensions?
Is that to see if you knew? I mean, by rote, or did you actually get to walk around?
No,
and go,
you got to. Yeah, you can turn that in later.
Oh shit, they don't really know their own house. We can't let our kids here.
Right. What else? What else were some of the other wacky ones?
I know. I was pleasantly surprised that you actually believed enough in me that I would say nice things about you. You asked me to.
I did.
Say good things about you, and I did.
I had to think of 3 people that knew us together.
You're in trouble. You're like, oh shit, we got to ask Scott.
Yeah. It's like, he hates the drinks I bring, but I think he still likes me. He invites me back.
He thinks alcoholic root beer is a good idea.
Yeah.
I rejected that.
He tells me it's okay to show up at 7:15.
Yeah, no, he does. He's perpetually tardy. Is that a problem?
Smoke detectors. You had to have smoke detectors in all the rooms.
Right.
Just things like that. The trash can has to have a lid, or it has to be outside.
What? They're like rabid dogs. They're like
they
treating
literally
them
are.
like
There's
dogs.
a checklist. So I own a handgun. The handgun has to be in one safe, and the ammunition has to be in a second safe. That's not near the first one.
Right, because when the bad guy comes in, you'd be like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Would you mind just hanging out? I got a couple safes
Which
I got to
one
go
is
ahead.
yeah.
I'm going to be using the 38 on you right now. Takes a few minutes to load.
Right.
So if you, hey, you know what? I got Pop-Tarts in the cabinet.
Ooh.
Get yourself a Pop-Tart, a little bit of milk. Check out the vaccine. Just give me a second. 2 minutes. Gotta go.
You showed up unexpected. I mean, what do you expect?
Right, it's a
Come
new
on.
locker. We got the little dial thing. It's like 1 5. Oh, honey, get the raspberry Pop-Tart. Oh, they're my favorite. Oh, you like them hot or cold? I like them cold. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So all those things that they go through. There were probably some others. You have to have a first aid kit. It has to have certain items in it.
Seems fair.
All things that, when people just, yourself, when you naturally have kids, you just take them home.
Yeah.
You could have all the trash and the handguns and the medicine just sitting out on the coffee table.
Right. And so you go through that and go, okay, well, we accept all these challenges. We have the safest house in all of Clark County.
Right.
Then what?
They come back a second time then.
To make sure you have that.
To make sure, yep. And they take
check.
pictures.
Attaboy.
Click, 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 click. You would think I'm like, I know I'm famous on the Vegas Video Network. Wink. But it's like MTV Cribs. Like, okay, let's now go into the bedroom.
Right.
And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to take some pictures of this. I'm going to take some pictures of this.
Okay.
So they completely photograph the house. And then you wait because now the class is finished. They've verified that you've had everything on your county do list. And you wait. It's been about probably, I'm going to say 3 to 4 weeks.
So you have done that. You're still waiting.
Yes, because what you're waiting for is them to finish up your profilers. They call it a home study.
Okay.
So they're literally writing I don't know what you call it, manifesto.
Yeah. But the FBI has that on John Lennon and
exactly. Me now too. Yeah.
Right.
On me and Hannah.
Right.
About how you played nicely with others in class and how you installed the fire extinguisher like they told you to, and all these you have to have a picture of the fire extinguisher.
Follows instructions well.
Do you know those signs that say like fire extinguisher and the arrow points down?
I do know that.
Yeah, we have one of those.
I had a fire visit for my studio. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to have one of those. I'm like, fair enough.
Yes. So do we now.
Anything else?
Yeah. Oh, fire inspector's the worst.
Oh man, Foofa.
Especially in Henderson.
Yeesh,
That's a separate story for a separate time. So you wait for the licensing worker to write the manifesto on the Corral family.
Right.
And then you go down, you get to read the manifesto.
That's nice.
And you sign it. And the manifesto will then, we're doing this tomorrow actually, we read it and sign it. The manifesto goes to a licensing supervisor who will read over it, give it the final blessing. And then It will sit probably for another week or two in the county system.
All right.
And we'll get a call that from a person who's now finally an adoption-based person, and we will go from there.
Adoption-based person?
Yes.
So you had to foster first.
You do, but we're specifically just looking at the children who have no parents at this time.
Because they're dead.
They're dead. They're, I don't know, serving life sentences. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So you are going to be you're still going down the adoption path. So
we are.
So you can say, I'll do your foster thing as is applicable for the 6 month, but we want to do adoption. We're not interested in just fostering.
Correct.
Okay, so you're still allowed to do that. I thought for a minute you were going to say, so you have to now do fostering for a year just to see if you're capable of handling foster kids. And you're like, well, okay. But that's not what you're going to do.
No.
Okay, so let's say that you go through, I know that you haven't done this yet, and if you don't have the answer, that's fine. But so let's say you go through that, they cross you, and they're like, yeah, okay, you're ready to go. And now, what's the process of selecting a kid who you'd like to foster?
So the adoption worker is going to call us up after we get licensed for the foster care. And if you were fostering, they'd just call you up and out of the blue and say, hey, we've got 5 kids here who we can't find their mom.
Right.
Can you take them? And then you would say yes or no. That's if you're fostering.
Okay. With
the adoption worker will have X amount of children in there.
Do you have an idea of how many children that is?
That each caseworker has?
No, in Clark County in general. I think it'd be interesting to know what that number is.
That are up for adoption?
Yeah.
I don't off the top of my head.
Do you know how many kids are in the foster care world?
When we went to, they actually gave us a tour of the child haven, where kids that are
so you saw kids who were in that
that are waiting for adoption, that are waiting for foster care, or had been dropped off because they, I don't know, kicked the cat at the foster home, or well, it's kids that are waiting to go to their first home and kids that were pulled out because of behavior issues or it just wasn't a fit. One kid, and it's adult.
Did you talk to the kids?
I didn't personally. The older kids would come up and like kind of make conversation, but it's in like college dormitory style settings by age group and gender. They told us a story. One of the kids, so they get fostered out. They're in a foster home. And it was a 2-story home, and it was a woman, just a single woman. And the woman ended up bringing the kid back because the woman said her cat wouldn't come downstairs anymore.
Oh, there you go. Seems like a good idea.
Yeah. So, so you go through there. There were probably, I'm gonna say, 10, there were 4 dorms we went through, and there were probably 10 kids per dorm.
40. But they don't, like in those first 10 weeks, they don't give you an overall, here's the overall thing that we're dealing with here in Clark County.
No, it is very 30,000 feet.
Well, it'd be interesting
dealing
to know that.
with, certain behavioral issues, or how do you feel, eventually you're going to have to give these kids back. Again, it's conversations like, how would you feel when you have to eventually give the kids back? It's like, wait a minute, we're adopting.
Right.
This is
not applicable.
Not applicable, but you still got to play along.
Right.
So
that'd be hard to do.
It is. So what? Speaking of what you asked about earlier about the different types of people and who's there for the reasons and who's not.
Yeah. Right.
You really learn this in these 10 weeks, and especially as the people drop off.
And they're dropping. Yeah. They got to be dropping out.
You have to do small groups with these people. You have to interact with these people. You make small talk during the breaks and the pre-meeting and the after-meeting. So you really then you start to learn the personalities of these people and how they act, and if they show up on time, if they look like they're paying attention. I mean, there was one woman, she was there for about 6 weeks, and the whole time she's just...
Right, so she was a high school kid. Right.
So, I mean, I won't mention any races or ethnicities or anything like that. But essentially, a lot of stereotypes that you would imagine held true.
But doesn't that... Hold on. So we're going to wrap this up here. We're already 40 minutes, almost 50 minutes into this. We might hit the over. Damn. Well, not your over. It was 145 hours. But
hour 7. But that's... I mean, I'm done.
Did you not want to go, hey, you fuck? What are you doing here? Didn't you ever want to just go, what are you doing here? You have no right to be here. You suck as a human. You're not here for the right reasons. It's not altruistic. You're doing this for a buck. you're going to hurt kids more than they already are hurt now. Did you ever not feel like you wanted to do that?
You kind of do, but 3 hours on a Monday night just sucks the motivation out of you, especially every time. Okay, let's break into groups of 2, and let's do the activity about Susie, who comes from a history of molestation, and how you're going to handle these behaviors. And so, one person is always, just like a project in class, one person's like doing everything. The other person couldn't care less. The third person is, I don't know, French frying a toy short of a Happy Meal. And
French frying a toy.
Yeah.
That's good.
So then what I hated, absolutely hated, there was probably 3 to 4 of these activities per class. Every time they would go around the room. So what did you feel about that activity?
Yeah, that's weak.
How did you feel about that?
I felt like we were here for 3 hours.
And they're taking notes. So that's just so like you're playing the game that it just, you want to get mad at those people. And thankfully, I would say the 6 people that were left, all those people that were not there for the right reasons or
Washed out.
Yeah.
So you actually haven't got into the real vibe of what you're trying to accomplish here. Before we wrap up this segment, did you have a chance to talk to anybody who has gone through this process already and what it was like? Have you talked to somebody who's done the foster that eventually led to adoption? And secondarily, and then we'll wrap this up, is do you have an idea of what the ages are of these kids who will be fostered and then eventually adopted?
Obviously they have all ages there. I'll answer the second part first. They tell you right away, well, in week 3, after they tell you have to foster, they tell you that essentially if you're looking for a baby or an infant or below the age of 1 or 2, you're going to be foster only because they usually have such a high reunification rate because grandma, grandpa, Aunt Sue,
isn't that interesting?
Someone shows up because they want the baby.
Yeah.
Primarily who's in the system is kids from 2 to 16.
Yeah.
You have to specify an age range because had we specified 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Because if you go any younger, now you've got to do like infant type stuff. Where you got to put those plugs in your in your wall sockets and like baby proof the house. It was just like
I got one more question. So when you said 5 to 10, when you and Hannah were talking about, was that a hard decision?
It wasn't. It really wasn't as hard as you'd think. Because one of the biggest things that I never wanted or was not the least excited about with kids would be changing diapers and staying up late at night.
Right.
So those were memories that you have that I'm just gonna
pass that up.
Much like I do in the first 5 minutes of the show on demand. I'm just gonna skip right by it.
Yeah, kids become fun at about 2.5, 3 years old. They start talking and they kind of get stuff. All right. Well, let me just say this. Congratulations on the decision. I think that's a bold move. I think it's a great thing to do. I think the vast majority of people can't do that, either because they can't do it. There are many people who are unwilling, who just don't think. I think the work is big. I mean, clearly you've put in the time. So I really respect that about you. I look forward to hearing how this goes. And I hope you'll come back and kind of give us an update of the actual process of starting to meet these kids. Now, of course, you're not going to say, the kid's name is Billy Smith.
Right.
That little son of a gun.
But no, I absolutely can share experiences.
I would like to hear that. I think this is interesting because I think, a lot of people are reticent to be open to that, but they might be in a good position. I'm not because I'm a motherfucker and I'm a mean-spirited guy. But other people, like you, are in a good place. So I think it would be kind of interesting to know more about that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Crowell is sitting.
When I come back to share those experiences, should it be at 7:15 again?
Well, you show up at 8 because we're going to start it at 7. We'll be done at 8, and then you can just buy us another one of those alcoholic root beer nonsense things you are all about. All right, we're going to take a quick break. This is the Living in Las Vegas podcast on the Vegas Video Network. This episode of Living in Las Vegas is brought to you by the Vegas Video Co-op. Because your online presence is often your only chance to begin a meaningful sales conversation, please take a moment and visit VegasVideoCoop.com. Highlight your business, start a talk show, or unleash your genius for a low monthly fee. Use promo code LILV for a special discount to our viewers and listeners. That's VegasVideoCoop.com. Do it. if I was Axl Rose, I'd be like, yeah! 2 minutes late. By the way, some funny stuff in the chat. I got to say. I love this. Pop says, good luck, Wayne. But I would have just bought one of those kits on Amazon and eBay. And Wayne wrote back, yeah, Hannah tried. It's not covered under the eBay buyer protection plan.
I mean,
so
you don't want to get stiffed on that.
We have to pump the brakes a little bit on that because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing from a protection standpoint. Okay, so it's time for listener email. This is part of the show where I read emails from the male species, and my co-host, in this case, Pimpin' Wayne, reads the emails from the female. We got a couple today. Our first one is from Laura.
Laura writes, and I quote.
And I quote.
That was my Casey Kasem.
And I quote.
Hey, guys. Hope your week is going well.
It's going
Great
very
show
well.
last week showing us Round the Park. I still haven't. I got to see that one. I'm behind one
It's
episode.
lovely.
How do you guys feel about
We started
the news?
that one at 7 o'clock, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, okay. Can I skip the first 5 minutes? Like how's
Probably shouldn't.
when do you get into the park? What's the time code?
Let me just suggest this to you. You probably shouldn't skip the first minutes given your tardiness to this show. Had you not skipped at least one of those, you would have actually known this show starts at 7. Please continue with Laura's email.
Thank you for confirming. It was cool to get here at 7:15.
Yeah, okay, we go.
How do you guys feel about the news that F1 might be coming back? I'm assuming she means Formula One.
One would hope.
As opposed to the key on the keyboard. The function one. F1 might be coming back to Las Vegas as early as 2018, possibly as a street race. And she hopes Brett's treatment is going well.
And it is. Okay. You know anything about the Formula One?
I know that there used to be a street race that was in Caesar. It went up like
It happened once.
Yeah.
Is that right? Like when I first moved here, I think it happened once.
Oh, I would have said before you moved here. I thought it was like in black and white photo times.
Oh, is that right? I thought there was something that happened here in the last 10 years.
Oh, a street race? I don't think so.
Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't heard shit about this. It is not on anybody's radar.
And to
that
be
I
fair,
can think of.
F1, well, I'm not saying it's not popular. It's not an American
It's not popular
thing.
here.
Yeah.
Soccer is actually starting to get a foothold here, but it's actually on. It's on the weekends on NBC, regular NBC Sports.
Oh,
Put
here in
soccer.
America? I thought you were
Yeah.
here in Las Vegas.
No, in America. So I'm not really sensing. Here's what everybody thinks about right now, and that is, can we get a hockey team in the new arena? That's top of mind for all sports people here.
Well,
in
that
Vegas.
and or the Raiders.
That's less top of mind. That sounds like bullshit from what's his name, Adelson, whatever the fuck his name is.
Sheldon.
Good old Shell. Shell, his friends call him. I call him Adelson. We're not buddies. And I think that, by the way, I think the Raider thing is well, it started off as being, it's going to be supported by the people. Really? You think so?
The Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
I don't. There's no way.
Oh, yeah. People will go crazy in this town if the
There's
Raiders
no
show
way
up.
it'll happen. I will be shocked if the people are willing to fund that play.
If you're not asking
not
for
gonna
new
happen.
taxes,
Well,
they're asking. They're asking
How are they gonna fund a $2 billion stadium?
They're going to divert revenue from the CVCA, Convention and Visitor
The
Authority.
LVCVA.
Yeah,
Those folks aren't really good about giving up funds.
they're not. No, you're absolutely right.
So I'm suggesting that's not going to happen. The only way any of that kind of stuff happens is private funding. That's what the T-Mobile Arena was. It's privately funded by the casino and AEG. They funded it. Apparently, it's a pretty good place, and so now the hockey thing may end up going there. God bless. I hope it does. I don't care. But the football thing, there's no way that gets gets publicly funded. No way. F1, I don't think anybody's thinking about it.
No.
Okay, next question is from Glenn Santa, who I believe is in the live chat. Let me double check. Nope, he was. And now he's left because he's decided to go out and adopt me. All right, hi, Scott and Brett. Or in this case, wait. This is something I've always been curious about. My wife and I go to Las Vegas for the escape. And I've met Glenn, Glenn and his lovely wife, and the Whitneys will be going out for dinner in a couple weeks. It's a place where we feel we can spend a little more, eat and drink a little more, and generally leave reality behind. I could never live in Las Vegas because of you, Mr. Whitney, and your late and tardy co-host, because I don't think I could find a spot in the world that would make me feel the way that Vegas does. Interesting. So I can't live there because it makes me feel the way I want to feel, but I don't want to live there. That's a poor argument, Glenn. You could do better.
Terrible.
Okay, but we're going to keep that in mind. He's from New York. It's very, very cold there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got some cold issues. So my question to both of you is this. Since you both live in Las Vegas, I've always wondered, do you know of a spot in the world like Vegas? Somewhere you can escape from reality from time to time. Somewhere that makes you feel special, where you can forget your everyday life. Where is your happy place? You know where mine is. Glenn from Syracuse, New York. Wayne?
My happy place is at a poker table on a casino in Las Vegas.
So, and that's it. So you can, my happy place is actually right over there. Mm-hmm. So I bought my happy place, and that's not bullshit. I'm a big pool guy. Mm-hmm. I'm a big summer guy. I'm a big Devil's Margarita guy. Mm-hmm. That to me is a joyous joy. I'll give you an example. So our friends Neil and Sarah are coming to town in a couple of weeks. And they're going to be doing the Strip thing because they're from England and they love the Strip, and they're going to be going to Tahoe and do some, and I love that. But we're going to spend a good amount of time here at the Arches of Whitney Villa. Mm-hmm. I love being here. It's away from that Strip. We've created a pretty neat environment. That same thing. We'll do staycations at Vegas. Just because I live here doesn't mean I'm there so often that it loses its allure.
Yeah, people get this. I think this misconception that every day you're in a casino or you're at a craps table or you're. It's completely different. I mean, where you live, even where I live in Henderson, you've got a church, a Walgreens, a grocery store. On a mall these days, or a strip plaza on every corner.
Yep.
You don't realize you're in Las Vegas. Once in a while, I mean, if you're at the grocery store and you see some slot machines, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So I will say this: is it as bright and shiny and awe-inspiring as it was when I lived in California? We would come here every few months, it's not. But I really enjoy more than just, I guess, the superficial stuff. I just dig what's happening here from a overall, that's pretty, that's well done, that was a smart move. Some of it's kind of a businessy thing. So this is a good place. But I also really like, for instance, Mexico, like Cabo, and I really like Cancun. And we've done a lot of, I'm a big Caribbean guy too. So if I really, we're going to be doing a vacation up in July, we're going to go down to Mexico and do like an all-inclusive thing. That, by the way, is my favorite thing to do. An all-inclusive week at some kind of place where I don't have to worry about shit. I can eat and drink and be merry and hang out by a pool and play ping pong and I go, oh, it's Tuesday. Well, that means it's purple drinks. And just drink every purple drink they have. Oh, it's Wednesday. Well, Wednesday's green. I'll have every green drink. And that's the way I play during that. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, come July when we take our break. So that is my thing.
Good for you. I couldn't do that. What you just said doesn't interest me in the slightest.
See, both Melissa and I we want warm places where the pool is right there. And I got somebody bringing me fucking drinks without even me thinking hard. That to me is it. But you can kind of do that here.
You can absolutely do that here.
But not to the extent as you can in an all-inclusive. This is not an all-inclusive place. And there's something to be said for the all-inclusive vibe. But like I said, I'm in the greatest staycation place in the world.
Absolutely.
I can decide, let's get a dog sitter. Let's head over to Caesars or wherever, and Aria, and say, okay, here we go. We're just going to hang out.
Or even off strip, Red Rock, very beautiful.
Yeah, and we've done that. I did a birthday once at Red Rock just because I was like, let's check this place out. It's
fireworks.
It's $1 billion. It's $1 billion fucking property. Of course, it's a great property. Yeah. I mean,
10th anniversary fireworks this Saturday. Come on out.
Really? Mm-hmm. Can I get VIP seats? For what? There's nothing to see, right? Oh yeah, you can get even up. Okay. All right, so it's time for real quick stories. First of all. We got a question from Binky asked, so how was the rain? And I got Mike Q in the live chat, who's from Portland, is like, you bunch of pussies. You guys barely got an inch of rain. Yep. That's the street in front of my studio.
Did you see my comment? I don't think anyone got it. I said, wow, that looks serious.
Yeah, I didn't get it. What was it?
Look at the street sign.
Oh, did you spell it that way? No, you didn't. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Comedy Gold.
The serious street.
Comedy Gold. Mm-hmm. So that's the street leading towards my studio. And you can see Palace Station in the back corner over there.
Now, to be fair, that notoriously floods. I used to work at that Palace Station.
Yeah, I mean,
Rancho, that whole Rancho corridor, that literally is where the water just kind of, because it's the center of town.
Yeah,
it just goes that way.
It was crazy. I did a live stream from my backyard. I can't remember the last time it rained that hard. I mean, it was fucking coming down, man. And like homeless people here. Oof, there was a couple places. There's actually an interesting report here where, there's sometimes people, live in those
washes.
And great place, smart place
Tunnel
to go.
people.
Yeah. And a couple of these places just got completely washed out. So it was a big deal. It was huge news. It was top of the news of every hour, every half hour. Let's talk about the flooding. Let's talk about the rain. It was relentless.
Traffic accidents on the 215.
It was relentless. Yeah, we can't drive here in the rain because it's rain apparently, and that's scary and wet and slippery.
It is slippery.
Excuse me, but it was it was not pleasant. I didn't like it. All right, hey, if you guys are interested in what we're doing at the network and the co-op, we're doing a thing right now. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but we're going for a while here. It's the Vegas Video Network, Vegas Video Co-op activity reports, or brief. Every morning, I do a live stream on my Facebook page that talks about what we're doing with the network and or with co-op folks. So it gives you kind of an insight on what we're doing and, more importantly, why we're doing it. So God bless Glenn, who we just read his email. He usually pops up on those live streams every time I do it. And says, I'm here. And I've gotten some really positive feedback. So if you really want to know what's going on, check out the live stream on my Facebook page. And then we also post it on the Vegas Video Network Facebook page and also on the Vegas Video Co-op page. This is only in Facebook. So we're using the Facebook's new live streaming capabilities, which is actually pretty interesting. It's
done with Periscope already?
Periscope, here's the problem with Periscope.
You didn't invent it?
Oh, well, that would have been pretty neat.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think it'd be that neat. I don't think it's going to do them any good. It's really interesting because we've had up to 250 people watch one of our Periscopes. And so we were doing it prior to the show, right? So I'd do it half hour. I'd be like, we're getting ready. Here's what we're going to do. Yeah. And, I would do it and I would get 250 people. Like, that's pretty cool. That's neat. And then the next week I'd get 60. I'm like, what the it's the same thing. What's going on? And I don't really know it's clearly algorithm based.
Mm-hmm.
This is not about the content. This is about, in one instance, Periscope decided we're going to put this up somewhere where other people see it. And in other instances, we're like, today we're not. And it seems like the more you do it, the less you get that exposure. So I'm like, wait, I'm busy. Fuck, I don't need to do this.
Twitter's making a big play for streaming, though. Did you see they're going to stream NFL games?
I did see that. God bless them. Everybody's tried to do Thursday streaming NFL, and they've all got the shit beat out of it because they did a crap job on it. It's hard to stream video.
Mm-hmm.
People don't really know that. When you do this thing with your phone, that quality is crap. It's 1x1 squarey kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this kind of, it's hard. It's just a lot of work involved. So I think it's great. Twitter's like, Twitter's doing this. Twitter realizes we got to figure out something to separate ourselves from the competitive herd. Who's their competitors are fucking Facebook, whether you like it or not. That's who they're competing against, but they don't have the same stick.
Do you feel like Facebook though is starting to decline? Because you know what, I get on Hannah's Facebook, and you know what it is these days? Herbalife, It Works, Sensi, Rodan, and it's all these multi-level pyramid scheme marketing businesses that everyone has sold out to and is just trying to pull their friends into it.
I don't see that maybe as often as you do. And clearly it is becoming less interesting to younger folk. There is no question that Facebook is a very, very powerful entity. Facebook is my favorite social media thing because it is not a running river. Meaning, Twitter is a running river. I log on to Twitter occasionally for mostly for business reasons. I don't log on to Twitter just to read.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. I log in to check our posts, to occasionally see what's going on, to see if anybody has responded to us or asked us questions. That's why I do it. But the way Twitter works, where it's such a river of content, I just don't watch it. So I miss 99% of the people who I follow.
Mm-hmm.
In Facebook, and I think this is the way for most people, you miss...
Do you follow me?
On Twitter, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you're missing a lot then.
Yeah. But I'm usually late to see what you do. I usually show
Oh,
up
about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 45. Anyways, but on Facebook, I think most people don't miss anything. You log in, you see where you are, and you scroll backwards. You scroll backwards.
You can do the
scroll
same thing
backwards.
with Twitter.
You can, but I don't think people do because it doesn't have the same interaction. It's not as easily embedded with videos. It doesn't have the cool. It does not the same look. Nobody goes to twitter.com. Nobody. They use
An app.
Everybody goes to facebook.com or Facebook's app. Nobody uses an app to get to Facebook. They use Facebook. Huge move on Facebook's part, by the way. So it's a different
Well,
way.
Facebook has apps.
But it's their own app.
Yeah, well, Twitter's on their own app.
Yeah, but you know how I use Twitter on a desktop? I use Hootsuite. I use TweetDeck.
Yeah.
So I want to see multiple things. That's not a Twitter app.
No.
So it's a different way of doing stuff. It's more storytelling. Obviously you have more room to talk. It's easier. You can put multiple photos in that. I mean, it's just a better place to hear storytelling and to stay in contact with the people that you give a shit about. That makes it better. And Facebook's like, well, we're going to go take on YouTube, for their video stuff. I mean, they're hosting millions of videos, not as much as YouTube, but they're coming out, and now they're getting the live stream. So they are taking on Periscope, which is owned by Twitter. So they're saying, we're going to directly go after and attack you. So it's a fascinating business model. I don't know how it's going to end up, but look, just watch our activity brief. It's pretty cool. So I have an idea for folks. Actually, this came up in the live chat prior to the show, and I had thought about doing this. What I would like to do is I would like to invite everybody who's listening or watching the show to do an introduction to our show, a video introduction to our show.
What if you're co-hosting the show? Are you invited
yes,
as well?
you can do that as well. It'll be tardy, but please do. So here's what I would suggest. I would invite. I think this would be just a kick. So and this part of this came from Bob and Pops, who have been producing these really, really funny videos for us in the Have a Drink on Me segment for months now. And by the way, some pretty funny stuff coming up on this week. But what I want to do is give you guys an opportunity to introduce every show. Now, I don't mean the cold opening that I do, because you don't know what I'm going to talk about. Hell, I don't know what I'm going to talk about until maybe a couple hours before the show. That's not what I'm asking.
Spontaneity is life's greatest gift.
But what I want you to do, what I want the people who are watching this show or listening to the show, is just introduce the show itself. So it'd be something like this. Hi, I'm Wayne Crow from Poughkeepsie, New York. And you're watching the Living in Las Vegas podcast on the Vegas Video Network. Then afterwards,
you want bumpers.
You can put in a little thing at the end, something funny. God help you. I don't trust that guy. Why are you watching this? Whatever you want to say, put that in there. There's two ways of doing that. One is you can do a video that has that stuff. So again, it's, hi, I'm your name, where you're from, and then you're watching the Vegas Video. You're watching the Living in Las Vegas podcast on the Vegas Video Network, and then something funny. So a single video, perfect. Or if you don't want to do video, understood, send me a photo of yourself, and then just send me an audio file with that same content. I'll take either one. And then we will use you to open up the show. So before my cold opening, we'll put you up there and have that do it. I would love to have you guys do that. I think that'd be great.
I'll get you my standard headshot.
Perfect. That would be lovely. Do the one with the hat so you look like, what's his name? Esteban. Oh, I hear he's doing very, very well. Oh my God, I got to get that. There it is. Do it again. La. Send it to assets@vegasvideonetwork.com. Assets@vegasvideonetwork.com.
I feel like there should be some official rules. Like all submissions become
My
content of the Vegas Video Network. Must be 21 or over. Void where prohibited. Sorry, Tennessee.
Right. We don't trust you. You are having sex with your sister. Okay. And we can't have that. You end up, never mind. I won't do that. And finally, before we go into chat, I want to thank Danni Ackerman, who's in the live chat, who also hosts the show Niche to Profit. She's been responsible for shipping out my Have a Drink on Me stuff. I gave her a shitload of things to ship out last week, and she handled it with class and aplomb. And I can't tell you how much I dislike mailing stuff.
Really?
It's like I hate to return things and I hate to mail things. Hate it.
That's quirky.
Hate it. Quirky? Doesn't feel quirky.
You hate going to the post office, or you hate?
I hate mailing things.
Oh.
Which usually means going to the post office.
Oh. Well,
But-
now I feel bad that I asked you to fill out that endorsement.
I had
of
no
me.
problem with that. You know, I make exceptions for my friends.
Oh.
And I hate returning stuff. If I buy it, I'm fucking keeping it. It's just the way it's going to be. Now, I have actually returned a few things recently and was very proud. Melissa, who is the return queen, she'll return anything. Oh, I don't like this. Yeah, but you know, it looks okay. It's not quite right. Pack. I hate it. So God bless Danni for getting in there and doing that work for me. Okay, chat potpourri. This is the part of the show where the chat folks ask questions and we are forced to answer them. We cannot lie. We cannot avoid these questions. If we don't have the answers, we will make them up. First question is from Binky, who asked, how was the storm? I think we already addressed that. It was Armageddon. Dogs and cats having sex. It rained like I've never seen before.
We didn't get the velocity in Henderson. We just got the duration. It would rain for 2 hours,
We
stop
got
for
the
2 hours. Rain for
velocity.
2 hours, stop for 2
It was
hours.
pounding.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
Pounding rain. It was very intense. Okay, Jimmy 2Gs. Are there any plans to extend the monorail anywhere else, like, for example, the airport?
They should. Everyone asks that. The answer is no.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. There was a thing floated in the news last week here that said they want to extend it to Mandalay Bay. So
It's not even. That's the wrong side of the street.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. Why? What's the thinking there? You can take can you take a shuttle from
The
New York,
airport.
New York to? I'm talking about
a tram?
Isn't there a
The
tram
private
from
trams?
from New York
Yeah.
to
Mandalay.
Aria to No,
Well, Mandalay goes to Excalibur and Luxor,
Yeah,
and
but
then
you gotta
then you can
cross.
pick it up at Monte Carlo,
Yeah.
and you go Monte Carlo to Aria to Mirage.
Yeah, so here's the interesting part. That's a great question. And clearly, no, Wayne's right. If we were smart and forward thinking, let's say the people who ran, I don't know, Portland were here, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You got to get that thing all the way down to the airport. Let's scoot around. If you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I'd have said it'll never happen because of the taxi authority. The taxi authority here is considered kind of mob-ish like. They wield a boatload of power. There is no chance in hell that the monorail gets to the airport. And then Uber showed up and Lyft showed up, and they were like, that's never going to happen. And it appeared that it wasn't going to happen. And guess what? It happened.
Yeah, but the monorail, that thing's went bankrupt.
No question
The
about it.
ridership is not there. It goes to the back. Who wants to see the glamorous back of
Nobody gives a
the
fuck.
SLS and the Flamingo?
It's
and
not meant. Well, let me just two things. So first, the taxi authority lost the fight against Uber. Then they also lost the fact that they were ripping people off by millions of dollars. The thing came out and said, "Oh yeah, they were overpaying people, overcharging people by millions of dollars." So they got hit twice. Boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
So the authority that they once wield. The intimidation that they may or may not have had has begun to fade. Now, I don't know to what extent, but clearly it has faded. So they probably don't have the same number of seats at the table that they used to have. The question about whether the monorails on the backside of the casinos doesn't matter, because that's not a sightseeing thing. It shouldn't be a sight. It's a travel
It
thing.
absolutely matters. I couldn't disagree more.
There's no way. If I'm at the airport, what the fuck do I care if I'm on the backside of the property so I can get an MGM? I don't give a shit.
You do. What if you're trying to get into Treasure Island? You now got to ride up to somewhere, walk
on
all
that
the way
side,
through.
No, I don't disagree with that. But I mean,
Okay.
if I just want to get to my hotel from the airport, I don't want to take a taxi.
Well, as long as
I don't
you're
want to take
as long
a
as it's
limo.
on the east side of the strip.
Yes. No. I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is it's not that the functionality of that at its best isn't sightseeing, it's travel.
No, that I agree with you.
The reason why it failed is because it has no visibility. That's a problem. So if they'd have put that damn thing down the middle of the strip,
I've always said they should have done that.
it would have been a good thing. It would have been
Mm-hmm.
smart because it would have been a ride. It would have been
Mm-hmm.
high roller like. You could have been up there. You could have been taking pictures, beautiful videos. Would have been very great.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't do that where it is now. That will not change anytime soon.
They should do like a San Francisco cable car down the middle or something interesting.
They talked about that. They talked about shutting down all cars and doing underground, driving, and then doing cable cars, and it's all basically like Fremont Street.
Yeah.
You can walk up and down there.
Just with less panhandlers, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't.
And guys in thongs.
I don't. Thong. I don't see that's happening anytime soon.
Probably
but look, here's the good
It's not
news.
going to the airport.
I don't think it is either. I think the fact that it's failed for so long, it's lost money for so long, it's lost any viability and any credibility.
Yep.
There's nobody there who can argue we can do this because
even
they
if you-
couldn't figure out back there. Now I think they got screwed by the positioning, and I don't know that anybody could have figured it out. But nonetheless, their credibility is in trouble because the fact that they've been losing money for.
There's too many easier alternatives. I can land, take out my smartphone, open the Uber app, and boom, book it right there.
And that ultimately will have killed that play because Uber and
Just
Lyft
on demand in general.
It changed it, right? And the taxi guys have an on demand. I don't know if you noticed that they had an on demand app.
Way to get to the party late.
Just before they actually Uber showed up, they're like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, maybe we'll do on demand." Tardy,
Yeah.
Who's running this? Wayne?
They didn't have 12 guys in India working overnight on that or anything.
Yeah, no, they pretty much screwed that up. So here's the deal. I'm telling you right now, if you fly into McCarran and you don't want to take a taxi, fucking call Uber. It's pretty amazing. And I told you before, I predict that there's a 25% drop in drunk driving because of Uber and Lyft. I believe, and actually I saw a report that actually is happening, not necessarily in Las Vegas yet. It's too early to tell. But I think I think it's a huge deal. It's a little weird being in somebody's car. I prefer Uber Black than what's happening here, the Uber X. But I'm telling you what, this is a brilliant idea, and I think that's going to be a real problem for anybody who's like, oh yeah, let's bring that whole thing down here. You know what that makes me want to do? Have a drink. Come on. All right, 81 minutes into the big show. The over the under is wrong. All right, it's time for Have a Drink. I mean, it's a part of the show where I show you a bar that I've been to, or a lounge, or a pub, or a
Just say
speakeasy.
81?
It's 81 minutes,
We
right?
might hit that 107. I might have been right the first time.
Yeah, that makes me unhappy. That means I'll be here until fucking 5 in the morning doing this. And I got an 8 o'clock thing. I got to do this. I got to be tomorrow.
Good thing you live here.
God damn. All right, so here we are. Have a Drink on Me is part of the show where we show you a bar or a lounge or whatever. And if you you guess the bar that I'm at. And if you are successful in your guess, you submit your guess, we pick it. You can win many, many things. Really, Scott? I don't believe you. It's true. The voice that you're about to hear is going to tell you some of the things that you can win.
Those winning Have a Drink on Me on the Vegas Video Network are eligible for the Vegas Video Network Visor. It blocks sun, keeps your hair in place, and just keeps you looking like a sexy son of a bitch.
They're back in stock. And by the way, Wayne used to wear his.
Those not choosing the visor can also receive the 3 CD set from Scott Whitney Music, Jazzathon, Chris Acoustic, and Chris Acoustic 2. If you still have a CD player in your car, it sounds fantastic.
You're a dick.
I don't have a CD player in my car anymore. Or if you just don't have a CD player in your car and you don't have hair or need to worry about sun in your eyes, you can have a drink with Scott.
All right. Thank you very much, Wayne. A lovely job.
Approximate retail value, $19.95.
$1,000.
Back to you, Scott.
Thank you very much there. We've got 23 out of 24 correct entries for last week's Have a Drink on Me. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Oh, wait, no.
No.
Other rules to talk about. First of all, how can you get more than one entry? Several ways. First, if you are the very first entry in that's correct, I'll double your entries.
Oh, that's new.
It is new. You would know that,
Here's
though,
look.
if you actually listen to the show. You don't know. You don't listen to shit. You know what? You're so easy to find as a liar. For somebody who does investigative work, you just suck as a liar.
You're just dying to burn through Post-it notes on this show.
You don't really know what the hell you're talking about. It's pretty funny. Oh, yeah, I listen to your show. I watch your show. No, I watch it after the 5 minutes. The fuck you do. All right. Okay, so first person in, you're in. If you're in the live chat and you have submitted a correct answer, we double your entries.
Even I knew that.
Yeah. Okay, well, hey, way to go. That's because you've been watching the show for 3 years. Well done. If you show any of our CDs in the wild, for instance, this CD here, the Jazzathon CD. Right there. Then we will also double your entries, but you have to be in the picture. So, for example, I want to see real picture. There I am in Red Square. Or, for example, there's a baby inside that belly who's listening to the Jazzathon CD. That's pretty cool, right?
But the person's not in the picture.
The baby is and the belly is. They get to
Where?
get that belly right there. That thing right there is a belly. That's a belly. There's a baby in there. This is a baby belly, and that's
I was okay. All right, wow.
It's a good thing you didn't have that during your foster test. They're like, I don't think that's a baby. Mr. Crowell, that is a baby inside of the belly. Perhaps you should.
They're just furiously writing at this point.
Go back to remedial and go, right, apparently you don't really know much about babies.
Damn it, that's why I'm here.
I feel like I do know about babies. Okay, but here's the best part of it all. If you win yourself one of them, their visors, life changes for you. Yes, your whites will be whiter, your brights will be brighter. But the most important thing of all is you will be part of, and we've got a new person in this group, the galaxy of God. There's Rob and Glenn who's in. There's Jimmy Two G's, there's Bob and his wife who has no name, but we have her in her red visor. There is Stuart. Is that the Kremlin? Look out! There's Pinky who's gonna kick BG's ass. There's Craig who I've got a bone pick. There is Michael, but wait. There's Scott and Shan, not Jan and Alan and his better half and more talented Aaron, who did some really good work we'll talk about later tonight. There's Pops who's on drugs, no, I mean medication, Sammy and Scott and Jackie. There's Christina who has babies because of my music. That's probably not true. There's Brett's dad. There's Don and a dog. Oh, there's Wayne. He's a little tardy. There's Mike. Look out. There's Danny. And there's more. And finally, there's Brett. God bless Brett. All right. Stop the music.
That's one of those pieces that's just going to do nothing but get longer and longer.
It gets better and better. By the way, if you want to submit your question or your answer, your response, you send that email to where?
We're really any domain, anything you send at Vegas Video Network. But for the purpose of this, have a drink at VegasVideoNetwork.com. Have a drink. That's HAVEADRINK. If you spell it wrong, it's still going to get there.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, I don't have that kind of thing. That creates spam and nonsense. You got to actually have it right. Okay, here's last week's Have a Drink on Me. Like I said, we had 23 entries that were correct out of 24.
Oh, I've been there.
No, very good.
I know what that is, I think.
And the clues were Casa Fuente, and Casa Fuente.
Oh, no, I haven't
The
been there.
cigar shop, drinky place at the Forum Shops at Caesars.
I would go there.
You should. I know
We've
that
been to the,
You're the one over at the water place.
yeah,
Is that what you
totally.
thought that was?
No, I thought that was a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, you, good to see that you're keeping up on the show. Okay,
That has nothing to do with if I can pick something out or not.
there we go. Get your hat. Whoops. Here we go. Ready?
Sure. I don't know if I got enough Post-it notes for this.
Oh, I got more.
I hope you do.
I'm not afraid of you.
Dead air.
Ready?
Here we go.
I prefer to have this up here. Can we put this up here?
You can put it wherever you want.
You gotta make your.
I can't hold on to it. I got it
Oh,
right.
wait, where's this? Hold on. Put this up more.
Okay.
There you go. There. Now I can just dump them right in there. See how nice it is?
Oh.
Okay, here we go. What do we got here? Number one, Bob McAdams, or Baba Louie. He's from Bloomington, Illinois. He is normally in the live chat, but can't make it. He'll be in the live chat this week. He won't be in the live chat, but he will be watching the podcast. So he does not get a double. No double. No.
Oh, I'm just doing doubles?
Yeah, you're just doing doubles.
I
these.
thought you had me doing all of them.
No, Christina V is not in the live chat, but God bless her little heart for playing along. Boop.
Sorry, Bob.
Glenn Santa from Syracuse, New York. Glenn is all about the show today. He's all over the place, but
He gets an extra entry because he said Wayne was worth the wait.
Fair enough. Put it in there.
Plus, he's in the chat anyways.
No, he's not. He was. I think he left.
What was his name?
Glenn Santa. That's funny. What was his name? All right, so get him out there.
He had me at Wayne.
Wayne's World. Laura Meekin, who's not in the live chat, but she's a fond person. Monica Fagan. Binky, 51. She is in the live chat. Monica Fagan. Boink. One for her. And another one for her. Put her in there.
Monica?
Yep. And we've got Robert C. from Pittsburgh, PA. Rob goes by Rob068 Pittsburgh. He is in the live chat, so Rob C. or Rob068 will do.
Rob C.
Welcome again. Ken Anderson from Las Vegas. Ken is joining us from the ninth. No, we are the ninth island. From the 8th island. He's in beautiful Hawaii right now. He took a time off of his vacation to watch our show. Boop. So one for Ken for the right answer, one for Ken for being in the live chat. Thanks, Ken. Our longtime viewer, maybe number one fan, Mike Q.
Well, I didn't answer, so it can't be me.
Mike Q. Well, because you don't even know what we even do a show anymore. Mike Q.
I know it used to start at 8.
Mike's Q is one for the right answer, one for being in the live chat. And next up, we've got Kevin Whip from Canada. We're international, ladies and gentlemen. But he's not.
I see those posts all the time.
We've got
Guess who checked out our website in the last 24 hours? Iceland, Canada,
those are pretty
Thailand,
cool. Pretty neat, right?
North Korea.
Right. Yeah, I'm a little freaked out by the North Korea visits.
Yeah.
Rob Cole.
Kim Jong-un, big fan. He wants to have you over next month.
Rob Cole is in the live chat, Short Shot Web. So Rob Cole gets one for the right answer, one for being in the live chat. And then we've got Steve Rhodes from the UK, known as Suti. He's in Kinver, UK. T-minus 15 days and 14 hours till he's in Las Vegas. I imagine he'll be there. If it was you, it'd be T-minus 14 and 13 hours because he's a little tardy. Mm-hmm. Right up. Andy,
you confirmed this.
Don't judge me because it's a poor workman who blames his tools. Andy in New Hampshire, he writes, "Thanks for the walking tour of the park, which you would have seen if you watched the show. Switch from audio to Roku, just so I could see the big tour. What to do, Andy? Is he in the live chat? Sometimes he is. I don't see him today though.
I can't tell you. Maybe.
He's not. Andrew Z. Love the podcast. Love coming to Vegas. Can't blame you for that. Okay, we got some printed out ones. Leslie R. I'm reading that in backwards mode. Let's do it this way. Actually, don't do Leslie yet, although she might be in the live chat. Actually, I don't see her there. All right, first up is Jeff. Oh, for fuck's sake, what is this? Wait, that's not right. Jeff Sharp or Havana Jeff from Eugene, Oregon. Do I have Jeff? There he is.
Jeff writes, with a name like Hannah. Let's take two on that.
All right.
With a name like Habana Jeff, how could I not know the name of this bar?
Good point.
Have you heard about the new cigar bar in Caesars?
I have not, but you are a cigar person. Have you?
No, I haven't.
There you go.
T. Cristo.
In Caesars, they have a cigar place at Caesars at the Forum Shops.
Yeah, it's not Davidoff. It's
Okay.
Yeah. It's got a name.
Okay, it's got a name. Well, that's a marketing genius right there. Okay, next up, we've got Michael Snow, which is Chicago Snowman. So he gets one for the right answer, one for being in the live chat. Michael writes. Did you get Michael?
I just read it.
No.
Oh, did you give it to me? No.
No, I'm reading that, but put him in the hat.
Oh, Michael. Gotcha.
Michael Snow. Michael writes, Hola, Senor Scott y Senor Brett. El 5 de Abril Haddam es Casa Fuente. Encantar el espectáculo. Espero que te recono. Gracias. Chicago Snowman 8, Mike Snow, or Chicago Muisen de Nieve 8.
Yeah, I need Google for that.
Yeah, me too. I think I just beat the crap out of that. Alan Perry from Arizona writes.
Alan writes, hi, guys.
Hi.
The Haddam Bar for this week is Casa Fuente at the
Correct.
Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace.
He's right.
I don't think you'll find me there. I can tolerate cigar smoke from a distance, but to sit in a bar with overwhelming cigar smoke is not my idea of a good time.
Fair enough.
I guess that makes more room for those that do enjoy a good cigar.
Attaboy.
Sincerely, Alan Perry.
Alan Perry. He writes and he writes. This shout out goes to Alan Perry in Arizona. All right. Next up, we've got Leslie R., known as Les Vegas. Leslie writes, hello, Scott and Brett, or in this case, Tardy Wayne. He says, Brett, I have no illusions of any this is really well done, literary talent, and therefore do not take offense to criticism, friendly or otherwise. So unsheath your sensuous lightsaber and blast away. That being said, here is this week's Haddam poem. The answer is Casa Fuente at the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace. I couldn't work that into this week's limerick. Here we go. She writes, there's a place at the Forum where men go to smoke their cigars and rub elbow. Can't go there. I'd choke. I hate cigarette smoke, but I'd sure like to try their mojitos. Oh, very well done. Keep up the great job. I really enjoyed the show. Leslie R., also known as Les Vegas.
Did you go there?
Yeah.
Did you have a cigar?
No.
Oh.
It was busy. Sad. And quite frankly, the owner is a bit of a douchebag.
Not surprising.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed about that.
Middle Eastern?
I don't think so. All right, next up.
They usually are.
Okay.
I mean, they're usually cigar shop owners, not douchebags, before the
before
the suicide bomb vests come in.
Okay, so Craig Daltrey. Now, Craig wanted to take advantage of the deal where he sends in a graphic, and here's what he sent. Now, I'm going to give him a double because he's got a graphic of the hat on arguably the crappiest picture of Las Vegas I've ever seen. So I'm going to give it to him because his intentions were right. So one for the correct answer, one for. But moving forward, you must be in the photo for you to get your double play.
And that was who?
Craig D.
Craig D.
Craig D. Who's been coming here for 30 years. Owns a property up in the northwest area of Las Vegas, but he lives in
Washoe County. That's what that is.
That's right. Next up is Erin Perry. Erin gets one for the correct answer. She gets another because of this piece of magic. As we know, Erin is the person who grades these great three-dimensional cards. So she created that one over there that we have on our set all the time. She created one for Christmas that I have in my studio. And she created this. She sent to me a couple days ago, which looks like this in real life. Look at this. There's Brett, and he's being Frenchy. And she writes on the back, Dear Scott and Brett, bonjour, to commemorate the Haddam for episode 256. So this was a little tardy. It came a little late, but we're giving it to her anyways at the Paris.
Oh, let's not give her grief about being tardy.
Yeah, she gets to, because she's doing this. You create one of these, fuck, be tardy all you want.
Je parle français.
The $90 charge for this card, not, but just extra entry to the Haddam. She gets it. Votre Centre, Erin Perry, Prescott, Arizona. Look at this. Look how cool that is.
Oui.
I hope she sells
C'est
these.
très bon.
I got to figure out where we're going to put these, but we'll put this here for right now. So did you give her a double on that one?
No, who's that?
Erin Perry. Erin Perry.
With an E?
E. She's the more talented of the Perrys, Mr. and Mrs. This is what she looks like here. Actually, she's got one of the best shot. Look at this. It's just like a professional shot. Look at me. I'm in my visor. I'm very attractive. I'm very talented. I can take pieces of cardboard and turn them into lovely magic. It's pretty neat. Next up, okay, it's time for our video stuff. We've got Pops. Pops gets one for the right answer. Pops gets one more for being in the live chat. And Pops gets one more, making it 3 for this bit of video magic. Pay close attention to this. Pops says exceeded all expectations.
When in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, you should go to Casa Fuente at the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace for food, booze, and cigar.
Man, you are a butt-kissing sucker.
What makes you say that?
You agree with everything that Scott Whitney says.
I do not.
Name one time you haven't been right on board with everything that he says.
Scott says that you shouldn't drive when you go to Vegas. I say you've got to drive when you go to Vegas. If you don't drive, you're going to be just stuck right there on the strip, walking distance from wherever you got dropped off when you came in from the airport. You're not going to go to the M, you're not going to go to Silverton, you're not going to go to Ramparts, you're not going to go to Red Rocks, you're not going to go to Sam's Town. You're going to be stuck right there in Trinity Land paying too much for too little. You're still a butt-kissing sucker, grumpy old bastard. I think you need these nuts!
Got him.
Nicely done, Pops. You see that part where it does that kind of creepy, it's like the O or the whatever, those Japanese horror films. Kind of freaked me out a little bit when I saw that. I'm like, oh, okay, Pops, I'm going to put you in. But stop with that little jumpy cut thing because it's kind of freaking out your brother. All right. And then finally, Bob is going to get a boatload of entries.
Oh, boy.
Bob gets one. Which one was that?
That was the whole post.
We should just pull it out. We have to be fair. We're being, audited by somebody.
Press
Bob LeBurge.
Arthur Anderson.
Yeah, sure. He gets one for the correct answer, which I will hold in my hand. He gets one more for being the first correct answer. So put one in for Bob L. for that. By the way, Eric Hansen was actually the first correct answer, but he was not eligible because he won last week. But I will give Eric credit because he knew he wasn't eligible. He just wanted to show off. So we've got the second one in there, and then Bob gets a third one from you, a fourth one total because of his cinematic godlike stuff. So put that in there. I'll put that in there. You take it away, Bobby.
Hey guys, this week's bar is Casa Fuente, a cigar haven. Located at Caesar's Palace in the Forum Shops, Casa Fuente has outdoor seating which leads inside to the lounge that has a men's club vibe. They have a huge selection of cigars in their humidor room to go with their fine liquors, attractive cocktails,
They pay him
or
for this
coffee.
commercial?
Isn't this pretty good? He does this all the time.
These guys look like a group of Cuban dictators. Scott, I received the red visor today. Here's a photo of my wife wearing it.
The wife with no name.
You guys have a good one, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Okay, let's do it. Shit, 101 minute. God damn it, we are at 100 minutes. This sucks.
I was right by accident.
Just go.
All right, I'm going to need 7 more minutes to make sure that these are adequately.
Just go. By the way, Bob's wife's name is Deborah.
Oh. Well, unfortunately for those with bonus entries,
Did it work or not?
didn't work.
Wow, unusual.
Did not work.
Who do we have?
This is a Scott.
Original?
I'm going to hand this to you because I can't really read your
Fair
writing.
enough. Kevin Whip from Canada, a previous winner. I believe he already has a visor because it's Canada. He'll be getting his next gift in about 4 to 6 weeks. All right, here's this
Do
week's.
those CDs play in Canada? Is there like
Just
a...
they do if you show up on time. All right, here's
NTS,
this.
I don't know,
Yes,
is it
they
red
do.
format?
Of course they do. The Canada is okay. All right, here is this week's Have a Drinkus Upon Moi. Let's begin with our hints, shall we?
Oh, boy.
Okay. Hint number 1. Taylor Hicks had a residency in this lounge in 2012.
Oh, I got it.
Taylor Hicks had a residency in this lounge in
Good to see the times have
2012.
changed and the clues haven't.
Right, just shut up. Hint number 2. Nightclub guru Victor Dre helped design the latest version of this place. Who knew? Nightclub guru Victor Dre helped design the latest version of the club you're looking at right here. And finally, hint number 3. Given the name of this lounge, I'm surprised there's not more blue in the design of this place. Given the name of this lounge, I'm surprised there's not more blue, as in the color blue, in the design of this here place. If you know the name of this locale, you're going to send that email to haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com. Again, haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com. And that's it, everybody. Thank you very much, Wayne, for hanging out and playing along. Tardy or not, we're damn happy to have you here.
It's always good to be here.
If you want to send us an email to be a part of the show, you're going to send that email to onairq@livinginlv.com. Again, onairq@livinginlv.com. Let's say you want to hear your dulcet tones, your own voice. By the way, you could use your dulcet tones to send that video that we talked about. You're going to go to our website. You'll see a little red tab on the right side. You'll click that. Oh, window pops up. You click that little green button and start recording your own voicemail to us. By the way, we're all over the place. We're on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. We're on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Besides iTunes on YouTube, we're on Roku. Over 32,000 accounts have installed us. We're on Stitcher, TuneIn, Chromecast, Apple, Google, and Fire TV. We're on Google Play and, of course, the VegasVideoNetwork.com website. I'm your host, Scott Whitney. That's Wayne. And that's the end of the big show. Thanks for playing along, everybody. Thanks to the live chat. You guys are the bestest in the whole damn world. We'll see you guys next week on the Living in Las Vegas podcast. 4 minutes.
Whoa. Right now?
Right now.
Okay, still going.
Did you say 7?
Yeah.
We're not gonna get